I'm standing just outside the Broadway theater where The Great Gatsby just opened. It's been kind of a crazy week on Broadway. Over a 9-day period, 12 shows open. I've been to all 12 of the shows. The Tony Awards are held in mid-June, and there's a deadline before which shows have to open in order to qualify for those awards. There's a belief among producers that the closer you open to the deadline, the more likely it is you're going to be remembered by the nominators and the voters. Broadway is primarily a tourist business. About 2/3 of the audience comes from outside of the New York area. So if you open in late spring, you're just building ahead of steam as the crowds are building. So there's an economic incentive to open at this time of year. Broadway's always been a really difficult place financially, but it's become a much harder place in the wake of the pandemic. Broadway was closed for about a year and a half, and it's been weaker since it reopened. There's this crush of openings now as a bunch of artists have stories that they want to tell, and a bunch of investors are hoping that theirs are the shows that are going to work. There are all these musicals that have pretty famous titles. An adaptation of The Notebook and Water for Elephants, and of course The Great Gatsby. There are also musicals that are based on the song catalogs of famous pop musicians. There's a musical called Hell's Kitchen, which is from Alicia Keys, The Heart of Rock and Roll, which features the songs of Huey Lewis and the News. And then there are original stories. There's a musical about the women's suffrage movement in the United States called Subs. Then there's a vast array of plays. One of the best reviewed is a play called Stereophonic, which is a kind of behind-the-music look at a fictional band making an album. So these shows that have been opening over the last few days are facing enormous headwind. It's really exciting that there are so many plays and musicals for people to choose from, but it's also really nerve-wracking for producers and investors who are really hoping that they can find enough audiences to sustain them for the long run.